Cause y'all saying y'all playing introduce. Hey, G-I-E, cut a loose. Call this to shut down, break a fuse. B-I-G, everything, do it like that.
Okay, welcome everybody. This is the Level Up Podcast. I am your host, Angie, and I'm here today with season 2 of this show. So if you have been listening to some of the previous episodes, you'll maybe remember that where I last left was with a bit of a cliffhanger. I was talking about some big life events, things that have been going on in my life that have really kind of took a turn. I was very excited about starting this year off, kind of doing a soft launch of the podcast, and then building up into something that I was hoping to sustain. Well, it turns out I took a month break just because I ran into things like grandma got in a car accident. She's okay. She's out of the hospital now. She was in the ICU. At the same time, learning that I needed to be displaced for some safety construction in my home. So I am currently not in my house. I'm in displaced living. Season 2, and this is my temporary office space. I'm in like a fold out table. I'm just trying to make the best of it. And then on top of that, it was all kind of wrapped around this trip to Colombia. Love it. Like, I'm back. I did go, but I was having a hard time wrapping my head around like these life changes and this random trip. I wanted so badly to cancel so that we could just manage the logistics better, pack for displacement, make sure that we had everything we needed to be able to file our taxes, go to Georgia and help around as we needed, because I felt guilt knowing that we had this trip to beautiful Colombia in the middle of all this chaos in my life. And then, so we ended up keeping the trip. It wasn't a refundable trip for one, but two, it was like with all this going on in my life and also some stressors at work, it just seemed like the world was telling me to keep the trip, you know? It was like things around me that are becoming more chaotic are like, you already have this calendared, your PTO is set, people are expecting you to go, just take the time off. And we did go. We went to Bogota where we landed, and then we went to Cartagena. So they're two different climates. One's a little bit more mild, like 70s, a little bit cooler in the evenings. And then we also went to Cartagena, which is very beautiful. It's a lot warmer. We're talking 90, 95, so it was hot. And then, yeah, so that was only a few weeks ago. I have a bit of a tan still from it. And then from Bogota, which was a city vacation, we ended up going all glam for myself because everything in Colombia, like with a conversion to the US dollar, it was really good. So I was able to get really nice premium services. I got lash extensions, which I've only done once. They're just so freaking expensive. We're talking over $200 for something that's going to grow. Your lashes grow and they like push out the extension in 2 weeks. So you'll need fill-in. Same deal with nails. So I got my nails done, like talking more with my hands ever since I got them done. And so, yeah, that was fun. I got massages. That was the whole self-care in Bogota and Cartagena. So Ivy did go with us. She's 2.5 now, and she really loved being able to play in the pool. It was really kid-safe and kid-friendly activities. And we have been a lot more better trained as parents who travel with a young one. So we have our whole routine. We sanitize surfaces. We'll put down a disposable placemat to make sure that it's a clean surface for her to eat from. Ivy doesn't do plates. Like if she wants to eat something, the food goes onto the table. I think we just got a good routine. It was a really good trip. The last time we traveled with her abroad was in Italy, and that was a nightmare because, oh my God, like she didn't adjust very well. And so jet lag, and she would be up really late, and that disrupted our trying to adjust to the jet lag and the new time. And also she was train sick. We learned that she doesn't really get super car sick. She doesn't really struggle with flights, but she definitely struggled with the train. And I think something about like the speed, or maybe that she could see outside the window, whatever it was, she threw up on every train ride. Yeah, that was a thing. So we packed pretty light. I think that makes us a bit of an expert. So we packed so light, we only brought personal items. We were flying like a budget airline, and we didn't even pay for carry-on. So the first thing we did when we arrived was just to go to the grocery store, buy more diapers, buy milk, buy snacks. Oh, and we bought toiletries because I didn't really feel like we needed to bring like shampoo or anything. Yeah. So that was pretty much Colombia. I'll say one memorable thing that did happen. Two things. Okay, we'll start. Number one was that Ivy's ability to do make believe just continues to surprise me so much. One of the biggest things that made me happy and brought me joy through the trip was that we had this fan. It's like one of those little baby fans that has bendable legs that you can just wrap around a stroller. And she saw this and felt like it was like a baby octopus. And she says, "Oh, baby octopus."
Hi. Hi, Mama.
Who's this?
It's baby.
Yeah. And the whole thing is that she wants to mother this baby octopus. She's cradling it in her arm, patting it, feeding it, putting a seatbelt on it on the airplane. She's like, this baby octopus is my child. I was telling Horton I did not plan to be a grandmother so young. And it was just such a sweet little thing. And it's so funny because like Cartagena, Colombia, there's a lot of seafood there. We just made sure that she didn't notice if we were eating a bite of like a squid or octopus. We didn't want her to feel like we were just really shocked about what was happening. So that's another thing. So the other funny thing is that we ate squid ink pasta. Not wild. You can get that stateside too. But the squid ink pasta, we were eating it and it would have like the black would get all over our teeth and we would look at each other and just start laughing out loud because we looked so silly. And it really didn't go away until we were able to get back to the Airbnb and like brush our teeth. But a couple fun moments. Really, overall, all right. What else has happened since I last spoke to you? Let's see. Recently, I went to what they called the Ladies Wine and Design Nashville Revival. So Ladies Wine and Design is a national program where women gather salon-style conversations, people who are working in design or design adjacent industries or just creative people who want to talk. I really love this group. I used to go to Ladies Wine Design years ago. It was becoming a regular and then COVID hit. And they hadn't gathered again since then until last week. So I did go last week and it was called their revival event and it was beautiful. We went to this great co-working space and then somebody who sells consignment clothing or just does this program for people who wants to sell their clothes. So she'll just sell it and get a portion will go to the client and then a portion goes to her for organizing everything. So she set up these racks of beautiful clothes and it was all spread throughout. And we were encouraged to have wine, have a little bit of appetizers, try on some clothes and shop for the first hour. And then for the second hour, we just gathered, broke off into groups and would just have one table lead who kind of helped us kick off the conversation. And then everything else really flowed super naturally. So that was the comeback event for Ladies Wine and Design. And you might notice that I'm also using a new mic. So I felt encouraged by things that have been happening in my life to just continue investing. I did hear a statistic from a friend of mine, Liz Heron, like most people who start a podcast stop at episode 8. Like they really only average capping and ending at 8 episodes. Well, last season, the first season of this podcast was episode 8. And so this told me that this has potential, this has momentum, there's something here. And I'm going to get to fucking number 9, guys. Sorry to cuss, but it was just like, yeah, we're going to get to number 9. And technically this will be season 2, episode 1. But I wanted you to know and hear from me. I'm clapping my hands. If you can't see me, I'm like, girl, we are going past that blocker in the road where people are stopping at 8. And whatever is blocking you, where you're like, oh man, I'm only able to do this and that's a max capacity that I've ever had in the past, so I can only aim to achieve to be that. Well, I want to say set that aside and get to the next level. That's what this episode is about. This is what this show is about. It's about leveling up. All right. So I open this up a little bit more on a somber tone, sharing about some of the things that have been happening in my life that just aren't fun. You know, it's just sad. It's life and it's not going to go away. With that, I felt like it would be a perfect time for me to talk about a few things that I have found that are helpful for me when I'm trying to manage some of the stressors in my life. As in, I seem to always have something going on, which is, like a saga, the saga of Angie Lee. Let's talk about it. Yeah? I mean, I don't have perfect answers, but I will share with some of the things that I felt and I've noticed do work. So I would put it in a few different categories. It was like, one is learning. So I find that it's really helpful for me to take a class. Like, I've loved taking class with other people. I love taking class with group fitness. I love taking classes with group dance, and just putting all of my energy and focus and watching somebody train you who can look at your moves and guide you in a really fun way that has your body in tune with a movement and with your mind to body connection. Really fun. So taking class and learning is good. And I'll say, if somebody isn't looking exactly to take a dance class or a group fitness class, something that you might also consider is like a painting class, or watch a video on a video editing skill. I just did that. Like, I'm using a new mic right now, and I was trying to study up to find out which one would be more appropriate for my level and my needs and price range. Second, if that's also not your jam, so I said cooking class, painting class, you could watch a quick video to learn. So yeah, those are things that have really helped me when I'm dealing with a lot of stress. And it also gives me that energy and excitement to learn a new skill. And I want to also kind of draw this connection with fitness in general. I find that it has been super helpful for me recently. Something that's been a bit of a non-negotiable is to do a strength training 5 to 6 times a week. Now, when I first started working out, 3 to 4 was incredible. And then now I'm at a place where I crave that 5 to 6. So that would be Monday through Saturday. It's really quick. We're talking about 40 to an hour of work. That also includes a warm up and like a cool down. So it's really like maybe 30 to 45 minutes of actual work. And this is no secret. If you looked up how to manage stress right now, the first thing that's going to pop up is strength training, or a workout or exercise, or going on a walk, something that's going to move your body so that you don't really even have energy or mental capacity to be thinking about that blaring anxiety, that thing that's in your head just talking to you. And I always find that at the end that I feel good. Okay, so, and then another thing that's been really good for me, we'll call this 3. So we talked 1, taking class, building and stretching your mind. Number 2 is strength training or doing some kind of fitness for yourself. Number 3 would be connection. So how are you staying connected with people in your life? Are you sitting and grabbing coffee? Are you going on a walk with a coworker? Are you setting up a phone call with someone who intrigues you and you just want to learn more about them? It's like, hey, you seem really cool. I think we would be friends. Would you be up for a phone call sometime? Like, I'll speak for myself. I have not done that in forever. How odd to put yourself out in that kind of way. Like, I don't know, maybe years and years ago when I was new to Nashville and still really trying to establish new friendships, I would do that. Outside of work today, I'm not really trying to get to know new people. So I went to this event, Ladies Wine Design Nashville. I mentioned it. It was really great to sit in the salon style, also have a facilitator, feel like we had our wine. It was a very casual environment. It was the one thing that I would say is different about Ladies Wine Design is that either I'm coming with a different sense of mind, having become more established in my role in my current job, that I didn't feel too much like I needed to be on. Like, every interaction I had could be a possible job opportunity or something for me. I was just there, and I was having a good time being honest and having good conversations. And what I wouldn't want this to turn into, and I don't think, there's 2 parts to this. The person who shows up, me in this case, if I show up and I have this mindset that I want every interaction to become some kind of relationship transactional kind of thing, then I'm going to find that. If I stop short of asking for something, then there's a lot more potential for these relationships and friendships to become true and more rich. Anyway, so side tangent there. So that was number 3. It was connection. Now I'm going to talk about a few mini ones. Number 4, I've noticed that multitasking in the meeting, never good. You forget things, you got to have somebody clarify, and then they might feel a bit disrespected because you didn't hear them the first time. There's this ongoing joke at work that we're talking about all of the tactics that somebody might use to ask a question when they weren't paying attention. And there's so many memes online. So I'll talk about a few. Like number 1, you could say, "Oh, sorry, your audio wasn't that good. Can you say that again?" Or you could say like, "Sorry, can you clarify?" It's like 2 really low risk ways of pretty much saying that you weren't paying attention. Because the audio is not perfect. You can always have a weird Zoom audio glitch. And secondly, like, can you clarify what you mean? When you say that, what is someone going to say? Like, "Oh, sorry, were you really paying attention or not?" So the whole story is that I've noticed that in order to be a better participant of a meeting, if I'm not face-to-face and I'm on Zoom and struggling a little bit, then I might find that I really enjoy coloring. So I've talked about coloring before. I already have all the tools. I got the things that I need. And it's a nice way to keep your hands busy but your mind open so that you can really focus. Because when you are multitasking on a digital screen, my mind is not open. My attention is divided. I'm listening to something, but I'm also trying to read and process other information online. With coloring, my ears, my mind are more open and ready to have more information, and then my hands are busy, so it feels better. Finally, the last thing that I would say is getting dressed for work, even when you work from home. And I don't know. I've been through phases where like, who cares? I'm just going to wear what I'm about to go to my workout class and throw on a t-shirt and call it a day, because why would I change 3 times this day? Because isn't that the perk of being able to work from home? I don't know. At this time in my life and in this season where I feel like I'm trying to manage my stress and my environment and things like that, I find that it is helpful to get a little bit more dressed up, just to brush my hair, wash my face a little bit, put on something that's not workout clothes, even when I'm working from home. So those are some of the things that I have found useful in terms of stress management. I'm also reading. I'm also sitting outside in the sun. I'm trying to connect with some of my new teammates and getting to know them on a personal level. And yeah, I'm watching some nonsense recaps from Love is Blind. I don't have the time or patience or access to be able to watch the real Love is Blind, but I love watching the recaps or tea caps just so I can get the hot tea. And so that's kind of been a fun, mindless way that I try to decompress. All right. So I feel like I've been talking at you for quite some time. I just really wanted to give you a proper update. This is season 2, episode 1. And those are some of the things that I have been doing to help manage my stress. I shared with you a few things that I've been doing in the meantime since you last heard from me. But again, I really am so thankful for all of you who continue to listen and tune in and support me. This is the Level Up Podcast. I am so happy that you are here in this new season. I'm hoping that we can find my footing and that you can find your footing through this, and we will continue to level up together. All right. Thank you so much. Lots of love, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I just want to throw in a quick comment about this song. So I've been using this other song for last season's kind of like intro music. And then I was sitting around and realized that there was this one time in high school when I published or like I recorded a rap album, and a local South or Dirty South rapper named Tam Tam hopped on to do a remix, and she was way more established, has an actual fan base, and she may still be rapping today. She was an older woman and I was just in high school, and so she did me a favor by giving like credibility to my name and my song by jumping on my song. And so she was so kind. We didn't collaborate in the writing part. She just I did my verse in the studio, and then she did her verses, and she did this really cool one where she was like singing my name, like Angie and stuff like that. So I actually want to find that and make that my new podcast intro music, at least for season 2, and let's see how it sticks for the rest of this thing. But I felt like that needed a little bit more explanation. I hope you enjoy. Bye.